Hello, hockey fans. Hey, howdy. How you doing? Drop the gloves. Episode 7. Brought to you by the good folks at Underdog Nutrition. So here's what you need to do. Pause this. Open another window. Whatever device you are on. What you need to do is you need to jump on the Facebooks real fast, okay? You're going to jump on the Facebooks. You are going to search up in the top part on Facebook. We're going to step through it here. There we go. Right there. Underdog Nutrition. Go like that page, and what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down, and this is going to get you all the information that you need to know about the good folks at Underdog Nutrition. Like if you weren't following them on their Facebook page, you would have no idea about these sweatshirts or the tank tops they just got in right there. That limited sizes are available, so you need to get yours soon. Follow along with their social media. That'll keep you up to date with everything you need to know about the good folks at Underdog Nutrition. Like right here, Taylor's current favorite pre-workout stack. They got it in stock right now. Fury is an amazing, well-rounded pre that has great dosed ingredients with a big focus on energy, pump, and blood flow, and mental focus. Stacked along with First Form's Alpha Surge, giving you more blood flow, endurance, and improved oxygen. Well, that sounds like maybe they're boner pills. They're either boner pills or pre-workout. I don't know. More blood flow, endurance, and improved oxygen. You won't get much of a better pump than this. They could be boner pills. I don't know. Check out all the great flavors and our other stacking recommendations today. That's Underdog Nutrition. So what you do, you like that Facebook page, they're going to keep you up to date with everything that you need to know. Okay. Boys go on the first road trip of the season. They go over to Cody. Took a little longer than what we expected. You'll see in the interviews tonight, Caleb Sanborn from Fairbanks, Alaska, and Jake Turek from North Branch, Minnesota. Both took some time, sat down with us. You're going to see that here in a minute. But Saturday's game, they were only able to get 40 minutes of it done. There was an injury to one of the refs, cut his hand up pretty good. Haven't heard anything other than I don't think he's dead. But it was a pretty significant injury, enough that they called the game. It was announced Tuesday that the commissioners and the ownership group from Cody, they called it, so the boys got their points. You'll hear us talk about that a little bit in the interviews on if we weren't going to get it called and they had to wait till January or February. It was going to be like 97 days. That maybe, I think it was Jake I was joking with, that perhaps Jake was the winning goalie and maybe the longest hockey game ever played. As it were, it ended up being like 96 hours and it was called. So when we look at the stats and the standings and stuff later, we'll see if the NA3HL website has updated that stuff. Big month and a half coming up here for your Wild. The next 12 games, we'll get into the schedule a little bit when we're done with the interviews. These next 12 games are all played amongst teams in the top half of the Frontier Division. This is a good opportunity for the boys to separate from that bottom half and maybe even separate themselves from the top half of the division. Everything is if it stays chalk, we're building to a fun weekend on the road in Helena in December. Because really, when you think late December, mid-December, there's few places on earth that are more beautiful and more people want to get away to than Helena, Montana. So that's what we're building to, is a big game up there. We're going to get to all that, the stats, see where the boys are stacking points. We are very well represented in the NA3HL statistically. Tonight, we've changed it up a little bit. We're trying a little bit of the Big Glas Meadery Munich Dunkel. They have it on tap here. It's also going to be on tap this weekend out at Spirit Hall. Oktoberfest is on October 23rd. That is Saturday night. They're going to have these boots. If you were following along on the Facebook page for the Wild, you would know about the Oktoberfest that is coming up this weekend. See right there, boys are 12-0 now. The Das Boot Steins, they just came in. This is October 23rd. You can fill your Stein with the Munich Dunkel from Big Glass Meadery. It says here only 80 Steins are available. Actually, there's only 79 because I called dibs on one. So there'll be 79 Steins available. And you look at the hashtags here, it says brats. I'm hoping that that's going to happen. I could smash a few brats and have some beers. So if you don't have anything going on this weekend, grab you, your significant other, and some friends and get down to Spirit Hall. And let's do, Oktoberfest and hockey. It's the only thing I would say that would probably go better from the German, maybe if there was like bobsledding or something like that. We don't have that around here. So your next best option for frozen water and cold beer, it's Gillette Wild Hockey at Spirit Hall. So before we get to our interviews, let's take a look back at the Wild's weekend that was.
For those of you guys new to the show, I'm Lundy. With me tonight on the camera is Jesse. We're hoping for a great hockey game tonight as the Yellowstone Quake take on the Gillette Wild. Come around, picked up, turns, fires, tries to send that one ahead. Picked off in the neutral zone by Norwegian. Brings it in, shot, save made, and he scores off the rebound. Looks like we got new goal lights behind the net there. 7 shots are even. Score now is 1-0. Ferguson just missed on that. Ferguson's got to get on his horse now.
Play from Gillette, penalty on number 3.
Short-handed goal there.
Will
Blake, 2 minutes for tripping.
2 minutes for a trip.
Face-off won and controlled by Gillette. 11-12 remaining in the second period. Brings it in deep. Shot and he scores. 5-hole action on Haggett. Big body check there. That'll come around here now. Waffle board save by Haggett. 3-0 the score, 29-13 are the shots, 10-13 remaining. Shot and he picks the corner and he scores. Puck trickles out to the high, up to the line. Brings it in. Shot and he scores off the post. With it now. Look here, he dumps that in sideways. Picked up here. Nice pressure now being put on by the Quake. Everybody goes down in a heap behind the net. That's a dangerous spot to be at any time of the game. Brings it up forward now, all the way up. Nice toe drag shot and save. That's a goal by Slinger. Took a lot off of that one, and I think that trickled 5-hole on Lakuska. Brings the score 6-0. Brings that in, now to Lean. Fires that across. Ferguson tried to get a stick on it. Now over to Trebojevic. Save made. And he scores. 0 help from the defense. Just smothering pressure by Gillette, really causing the Wild to make some uncharacteristic, at least from what I've seen, some uncharacteristic mistakes with the puck. And they score again. 8-1. Kind of gave up on that for a second. Now free in the neutral zone, carries it in. Ooh, fans on it. Ooh, I don't know if that was done on purpose or not, but it worked out pretty well for him. Sends it across, that shot, and he scores. Gillette is scoring at a machine-like efficiency at this point. It's 5-on-3 hockey now as Trebojevic had it, and they score. Power play goal makes it 10-2.
Scored by number 3, Will Blake, assisted by number 5, Sky Solig.
Good puck movement. Still have a minute 36 remaining in the power play shot, and that'll end the power play with another goal. A little scrum going on along the boards there. Lots of pink and black jerseys. The pink and black attack. Anybody can tell me who that reminds you of back in the early 90s. And they score again. Get some bonus points. It'd almost be safe to say at this point that the Gillette Wild are an absolute wagon. Just good puck movement, still moving it around out to the point. Fanning with a shot, save made. Puck free shot, another save made. I think that hit somebody. And that'll be the end of the game here, folks. So here we go. Both benches are absolutely electric this evening. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it is loud in here. Crowd's getting fired up. We're ready to go. Wow, it's fired up in here tonight. A lot of energy. Face off, back to Fanning. Fanning sends that over. Carries it up through the neutral zone. He's going to dump that in. Cattywampus. I can't pronounce that last name right now. Apodaca. There we go. Back out to the point, trying to get it out. Maybe just to get a get a good line change here as that puck goes up and over. Stays in play though. Behind the net now. Brings it around Eastman. Good north and south, side to side movement there by Eastman. Shot right on. Save made. Kicked aside. That'll go back. No harm, no foul. First shot on goal of the night. Brought to you by Choice Aviation. First goal of the evening. Scored by Gillette. And they're picking up right where they left off last night. Machine-like precision with 18:11 remaining in the first period. Just a missile shot. As Brown fires that in, we're going to have a defensive change on the backside of this. And that'll go all the way down. Fergie tried to give it a whack. And they score shorthanded. So 4-on-3 hockey. Kadidis battles for it. That'll go out. Trickle down. Shot fired and he scores. Power play goal brings it to 3-0. From the blue line. Back to play it. Picked up by Eplin. Eplin sends it around for Kadidis. Kadidis back around looking for Eplin. Eplin takes the station in front of the net. Now back out. Fire shot. And he scores off the waffle board and in. It's fired down. DeForest on his horse. He'll win the race. No icing, unfortunately. No payoff there. Quake pick up the puck. Trying to get it back to DeForest. Couldn't quite get it handled now as that comes out. Call can't quite hold it in. Bring it back the other way now. I believe this is Cooch. Over to Blake. To Cooch, and he scores. Hey, guys. So, unfortunately, we are not going to have a third period of hockey this evening due to the injury to the referee. Due to the injury to the ref, they're going to postpone the game until further notice. Unfortunately, our party comes to an end this evening.
Okay, as you saw right there, folks, she just ended. They just come in, they told us we're done playing hockey, so there's nothing you can do. We welcome on very special guest tonight, Caleb Sanborn, one of the old timers here. Yep. It feels like you've been here forever.
It does. It really does. I know.
It's a name we hear. It kind of rolls off the tongue. So, first of all, before we get into all the history and everything, Saturday night, have you ever been a part of a game like that where they just come in and tell you, we're done?
I mean, there was one time last year when we were playing in Butte and cracking the ice, and we had to replay that period the following day before the next game, which huge difference. You play a game, you warm up, and you play another game, and everything changes. But so
nothing like you're going to have 3 months in between the games.
Yeah, it's crazy. So much time, and it's going to be a long time till that next game for sure.
Gotcha. So you guys are just sitting around waiting in the locker room. You knew he had got his arm or got his hand cut up a
Yep.
little bit, but you guys didn't know the severity of it.
Nope.
No idea that they're just gonna call her and then just put you guys on the bus and come home. Then is that what happens?
Pretty
Do you
much.
get your food?
We
Like-
did,
Okay.
but it was a little more fresher than it usually is because
Yeah,
you know
it's
it's had to
cold.
be. Yeah, exactly. It had been
What are you eating?
pizza.
Is that what it is?
For most of the trips, we do get Qdoba on the trips to, or I think Quiznos or Qdoba for trips to Sheridan.
Okay. Like I said, you're an 01, right?
Yep.
Which I find I still have a hard time. That's wild. Couple from Fairbanks. I got questions on the whole travel part of that too. So, of all the road trips and stuff that you've taken, when you go on the road, do you have a place that's your favorite?
I like playing in Sheridan a lot. I know they've been good the last couple of years, but it's just a lot of energy there, so it's always fun playing there for sure.
The big rivalry games.
Big
So
rivalry.
so then in Fairbanks, coming up through the youth hockey there.
Yep.
Is it broken into separate divisions? Like, what do you have a rival that you're playing there?
Always Anchorage. We have one team in Fairbanks, and Anchorage has like 6.
Okay.
So it's always
just
Anchorage.
one with the youth association.
Yep.
Okay, so when do you start? Same thing I've asked all the guys. What is your little Caleb? What is your first hockey memory?
First hockey memory had to been with Home Depot buckets on a little rink outside in Anchorage with my dad, always skating around in the snow, but just skating around and playing hockey with him outside all the time.
Outdoor.
Outdoor all the time.
When you're playing outdoor like that up there, when's the ice ready?
So usually we get first snowfall in October. So usually in October is around the right time where ice freezes, and it's nice to play hockey outside then.
Okay.
Not too cold, and yeah.
Now this I'm going to ask you some dumb Alaska questions. I have an uncle that used to go up there and
Yeah.
hunt bears.
Yeah.
So there's a mountain range or something, and if you're on one side of it or the other, it dictates the weather.
Yeah.
So Fairbanks is south of that.
Fairbanks is north.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
North. We're in this dead center of Alaska pretty much.
Okay, so it gets cold. Then.
It
That
gets really cold.
Okay,
Yep.
what worst cold? Like
Worst
what
cold.
are we talking here?
-50 at the most wintertime, so
So
it gets
it's
bad.
no messing around.
No messing around.
Okay, where are you going then, hockey wise? Like, how far are you traveling? What's the setup of the youth hockey there, and where do you guys go?
Well, once that snow hits, it's about 7-8 hours to get to Anchorage. So usually that's our bus ride is 7-8 hours
Through
to
a
go play.
pass, I assume.
Yep. Well,
Okay.
right by the mountains. Yep.
How many teams? So Anchorage has the 6.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are kind of the ones. Are you going to Anchorage constantly? Like, is that the only place that you're playing?
They come
or-
up sometimes, and then we also play in Wasilla, which is usually it's 45 minutes away from Anchorage. So
Okay.
it's pretty same place practically
I
for
didn't
us.
get that thought, man. I didn't pull up and look at Fairbanks to know that's
It's a
you're
long
doing
trip.
a lot of traveling
Yep.
and stuff like that. Is there one thing from Fairbanks that you wish you had in Gillette?
The scenery.
Okay.
All the greenery, you got mountains everywhere, snow, it's just beautiful white and green.
And this was the kind of the second one I had down. And I think you do. Just, do you take pride in kind of being one of the cornerstone guys with where this program is? Because you've seen
Huge
some
changes.
shit.
Yeah, a lot of changes. 3 years, yeah.
I assume I'm not going to put words in anyone's mouth. There's been some time maybe in the last 3 years that hasn't been fun.
Yeah.
So, with all that stuff that's happened and where you're at now, like, do you take pride in that, being part of this program
of
that
course.
time?
And going in the right direction and improving and everything. It's doing great right now, so yeah.
Easton gave a cool answer a couple weeks ago talking about some of these younger guys, because you'll see maybe with some programs that as a program's building and there's a change in coaching staff or whatnot, and some of the young kids that come in, like Easton talked about how cool it is to play with some of these the youngsters that
crazy,
are they're damn good hockey
They
players.
are.
Are you in the same boat? Like,
Yeah.
is it cool to have been here now and seen these guys coming in?
Yeah, it's nice seeing a lot of young guys coming in for sure, and they're skilled and they can carry the team for sure the next couple of years, so it's going to be nice.
Nice. Is that is Gillette a good hockey town?
Oh, for sure.
In your opinion of kind of where you've been and what you've seen traveling and stuff wise, is it cool to see that here?
Yeah, it is for sure. Gillette, you wouldn't think of it as much as a hockey town, but of course it's improving, and you can see that they love hockey here. So it's
Going
nice.
back years now, so this was probably 4 or 5 years ago. How do you end up down here? Like, what's the process that you end up in Gillette?
So it's actually a pretty funny story. I was playing hockey, high school hockey, and everybody actually left my high school hockey team to go play in the South. Most of them went to Washington to go play. So I was kind of lone in Alaska playing for my high school team as junior year.
So when you say they leave, are they leaving to go play junior hockey?
Some of them went to go to school and play hockey as well. So it wasn't necessarily junior hockey, but it can be considered as junior hockey.
Okay.
Some places they were playing junior hockey, other places it was school and youth still.
Okay.
So they all left. So senior year, I wanted to go play hockey somewhere. Hockey in Alaska was kind of dying down. Everybody was leaving at my age. So I called up a buddy who actually played on Gillette recently, Dominic Ermy.
Okay, yep.
So called him up, asked him about the hockey here and how it was because I needed somewhere to play. And he told me all about it. And then he left the team, but talked to Crook, of course, and I got on the team. And pretty fun ride.
Had you committed to Gillette before you had been down here?
I did.
Okay. So, first of all, I had this question too. What is your trip from Fairbanks to get here? Like, what do? We get on an airplane in Fairbanks.
Yep.
Where do we fly?
Seattle first.
Okay.
And actually, this past flight, I flew straight to Montana. I went to Billings, Montana.
Okay.
Because the Gillette airport here is small and bringing stuff and traveling and a lot of more stuff. So flying into Billings, I could carry more bags. So.
And then I assume you've had to go from Gillette to Denver to Seattle to Fairbanks before?
I've had, yep.
Gotcha. I'm just curious how
it's-
your whole trip, because that's not something you're not driving.
No,
Have you
not
ever
it.
driven it?
No. Was thinking about bringing my car down here, but I did not do it. So.
Gotcha. So you've still
Yep.
never driven and made the trip?
Nope.
So, first time you fly in here, we were talking about Fairbanks and the scenery and beautiful. That is, we don't have that here.
Yeah.
Now we're a few hours away
Yeah.
from it, a little ways. But what was your first impression when you got to Gillette?
It's
and
all-
what time of year are we in here?
So the first time I got here was probably late August when the season began, and I actually flew into Denver.
Okay.
Drove around, scenery, kind of views, getting to know the place and everything, and it's so different from Alaska for sure. So a lot different. See the rolling hills and a lot of openness to everything.
Now, did you have a deal where when you got to Denver and you're driving up here, like you got to the Wyoming line and hit Cheyenne, and you're like, oh, we're almost there?
Yeah.
Then you're like, God damn, this is a long ways away.
It is.
Okay, so that's when we first got married. I actually lived in Buffalo, and wife and I got married. She's still finishing college. The first time she comes up at spring break, I told her, I was like, what's going to happen is you're going to get to Cheyenne. You're going to be like, all right, I'm in Wyoming. You're not even
No.
close. So you got to take that
Yep,
drive a
you
little
do.
bit because it's a long
It is.
drive all the way across. So, but, I mean, you're happy you're here.
Oh yes, of course.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where do you bill it?
I built with Kim Groves.
Oh, okay.
So
You
bill
built the
coordinator.
billet.
The
With
billet.
the
The
billet.
billet. Yeah.
Are you hillbilly in Fairbanks? Is that like country kid stuff?
Not so much in Fairbanks where I'm at, but
Okay, has that been something cool to
It has
like
been.
experience a different part of a different experience in life for the country folks?
yeah.
Okay, what is maybe something that you've learned living out in the country that you didn't know? Is there one thing?
It just feels like a long haul, and of course I got last Wednesday when that snowstorm hit and got stuck, snowed in and everything, got stuck out there. So power went out and everything. So it's
Have
a
you
little
had to
different.
pull either a lamb or a calf? Have you been a part of any births?
No, not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet. Not yet.
You might have one of those.
Yeah.
You might have one of those coming. Who's been the most influential on your game? Maybe from youth coaches, parents here. Like, is there one person you look back on that had the most influence on either you as a person, you as a player? Or?
I do have to say my dad for that one. He grew up playing hockey his whole life, so he's always been on me about playing hockey and what I should do better. So he's always on me every day telling me what to do and stuff. So.
Did he coach you?
He did not coach me, but
Okay.
it's practically coaching from the backside.
Oh,
Backseat
Yep,
driver kind of deal,
I
yeah.
know. Yep. Do you have a favorite sweater that you've worn of all the places you've been? Gillette's had a couple cool ones,
Yeah.
but is there one maybe through your youth and through your out here that you've enjoyed wearing?
I'm a big sweatshirt guy, so I go through
Yeah,
I have like
same.
5
I
top
have a ton,
sweatshirts,
yep.
so I don't have the favorite, but I do have 5 I cycle through all the time.
Sweatshirt wise. So you don't keep your jerseys, or do you keep your
I
jerseys?
keep my jerseys, but
Okay. What do you do with them?
they hang on the wall for the most part, or they get passed out to family, of course, because I got a lot of family. So
Nice. What do we have family wise? Brothers and sisters.
I have about 6 siblings, I think.
Oh, where are you at in the hierarchy?
Top.
You're the oldest?
Youngest is 3, I think.
Okay, so they got a lot.
They
of
got a
hockey
long list to go. Yeah, they do.
All
Yep.
right, so there might be some more. We might have some more Sanborns
Yep,
down here
for
playing
sure,
hockey.
yeah.
Cool. Do they get to come down here very often, or how does that?
My
Is it
mom-
more hockey TV?
It's most hockey TV. My mom does make one trip per year, but my dad works at a hospital, so he doesn't make it. But they all watch hockey TV all the time, every weekend. So
That's cool. That's
That
what
is-
makes it nice
yeah.
for having that
So
for
nice,
the
yeah.
folks to get to watch. You've been in, I think, twice now that Gillette's made the playoffs.
Yep.
And it hasn't worked out the
No.
way we've wanted it to.
Not at
Which I don't think the teams, they weren't there.
they weren't there.
So as we look, especially over which we filmed Jake
Mm-hmm.
first, but you're going to go first, so people will be seeing this before Jake. I asked Jake this question later, but it's setting up for you and Helena. Like I think
Oh,
it's time
yeah.
to kind of see where the teams are. First of all, is that place as rowdy as it sounds like to play?
Well, this last year, I mean, it wasn't as much because of the COVID, so they couldn't allow any fans in there. But those benches and people in there, it'll get
Why?
packed
Like
and
why,
rowdy.
what makes it so?
It's echoey in there.
Okay.
It's really echoey, and those benches are just metal steel, so it's
So when you're banging on them,
yep,
it's loud.
Yep.
Gotcha. You guys over the next 2 weekends, you have Bozeman here twice, and then you guys go up there. They are third points wise. This is kind of an opportunity for you guys to separate the top 2 from the kind of the bottom 2 of the top half, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense. Do you start looking at that stuff now? Every point counts,
It
and
does.
you guys want that home field, home ice.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
How much of a difference do you think that makes?
I mean, it starts at the beginning of the year. You need those points early on because they are going to matter and count towards the end of the year. So you got to look at it every time you go out there, and especially these points are going to be important to get. So
How much more fun is it here when there's 500-600 people? Like, can you tell?
it's great. You can tell they get rowdy and loud, and it's awesome feeling when you can look up there and it's packed and it's really nice. So
Is Spirit Hall the only arena that you've played where the crowd sits kind of up like it is?
Yeah.
Where does it rank in kind of the rinks? Like, what are you in Fairbanks and stuff, and growing up and through high school hockey there and here? Like, is Spirit Hall?
it matches up with Fairbanks. Fairbanks does have a lot of rinks for being a hockey town and whatnot, but Spirit Hall is definitely a nice rink, and I like it and enjoy it a lot. So
Nice. You said you like going to
Sheridan.
the Montana road trips, which I can't.
Oh,
those,
no.
Those guys. So you're not a big take off and go
No,
forever guy
no.
on the roads. So what do you do to kill the time? Like, what do you when you're loading up on the bus? What are you doing?
We played a lot of cards this last road trip. I think one card game lasted almost the whole
What
trip.
card game are we playing?
Schnarps. We played a lot
Ooh,
of
I
Schnarps.
don't know that one. Okay, I'll have to look that one up.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of Schnarps and a lot of bomb, which the War Road boys taught us. So
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys, they've been on some road trips
Yep.
up there. So. We talked about you guys being successful come playoff time. Last thing, and I'll let you go. What do you feel is different about this team compared to maybe the last two that have kind of went to the playoffs? What's different this year?
lot more skill on this team, and we're more depth on this team as well, and just a lot better energy and positive energy, and just a lot of young guys on this group that will help us out, and it's just a fuller team, I guess, to say. So
nice, dude. I appreciate you
Yeah, of course.
taking some time coming down here. So I'm looking forward to it. It's starting to get fun now.
Yeah,
We're
it
going to get
is.
into
Yep.
hockey weather's getting here.
Yep.
The football's winding down. I know that sucks, but it's people skip and go watch some mediocre high school football at best, and they're missing some phenomenal hockey. Football's king, man. It's what it is.
It is.
But as that goes away, and then the GHA starts this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll start having, I think it's squirts that come over. So we'll start having some of the kids from around the state coming in. Like, super last thing.
Yep.
With the sticks and pucks and the learning the skate stuff and working with the little kids,
Yeah.
do you enjoy doing that?
I do. It's awesome watching them learn and take off. Like, I had a kid last week that couldn't skate, and now he's up skating by himself. So it's awesome seeing that, and especially growing in Gillette hockey and seeing these kids go. So
Nice. I know we appreciate that's how
Yeah.
the girls got started in it, was, you know, watching and seeing you guys and helping everybody out. That is a very big thing that, I mean, you guys don't have to do that. And if you have to do that, you don't have to be as cool about it as you guys are. But I enjoy watching you guys, and I know you guys have a lot of eyes on you and a lot of influence on the kids around here. And it's the same when you go to the classrooms and do the stuff. My wife teaches 3rd grade, and she loves. I mean, when you guys are able to come in and do stuff, and then she tailors lessons after hockey stuff with the kids, and it's a cool deal, man. You guys are a classy group, and you do a really good job of, and Mary does a good job steering the ship and making sure you guys are doing some cool stuff. So I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get the game from this weekend finished, because you got a couple points.
Yep.
You got a couple points hanging on the board. We got to get on there. So we'll see you here this weekend.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
Yep, man. Thank you. All right, we're back. Another goalie. Jake Turek has taken some time to join us. Jake, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, let's first, before we get in, I got a laundry list of questions, but let's go back to Saturday night. When did you guys, I'm learning a little bit now on kind of when the ref got his hand cut up a little bit. In between periods, you guys are waiting. When do you get the word that you guys are done at that point?
So we were sitting in the locker room probably about 10 minutes, getting prepared, talking about what to do, what we did wrong that period, what we can focus on. And coaches were talking to the refs, and we were just about ready to get on the ice, and coach comes in and says,
"We're done."
Yep, game's over, we gotta play the next period later.
Nice talking to you guys. I'll see if I can find it. I'll go back and look on the tape and stuff. But did this happen? Was this in front of you at your net, or was this at the other end of the ice?
This was at the other end of the ice. I didn't really see it, but yeah, it was about halfway through the second.
I guess being around the goalie right there, when it gets chaotic and there's traffic, maybe it's something that you guys as hockey players don't think about it as much, but I'm shocked more stuff like that doesn't happen, especially because you guys are skating around on razor blades or whatever. So is that a deal where it was just a scrum and it's just shit happens, one of those weird deals in the sport?
Yeah, I mean, stuff happens. It's just kind of how it goes, but it's obviously not what you want to happen in a game, but not much you can do about it.
No, just do it and move on. Okay,
Yep.
So I am a little enamored with the goalkeeping, the psyche of it, because I think it's maybe other than catching in baseball.
Yeah.
It seems, and maybe there are kids baseball-wise that set out to do it and want to do that, but I think goalies is maybe the most batshit crazy, other than maybe a guy that drives a dragster or something like that. So, is there a difference in the mentality of what it takes to be a goaltender?
A little bit. I mean, obviously, like backing up and starting, you got to be ready at all times. But I don't know, it's just kind of something you learn how to do over the years. Every game's kind of different. I don't know.
Okay. Did you know when you started, like, okay, so let's go back, and same thing I've asked all the guys.
Yep.
Your very first memory of hockey, because I don't have yours. You didn't have one of the sheets, so I don't know. When did you start? Like, what age are you when you're playing hockey?
So I started skating at 6 years old.
Okay.
And I started goalie when I was 7.
Okay, so when you said you started skating, did you start skating with the intent of playing hockey, or were you just going out and ice skating?
It was kind of the intent of playing hockey. It was more my parents, being from Minnesota, big hockey state, just kind of wanted to know how to skate.
It's the biggest hockey state, yeah. Yep.
Exactly, just wanting to know, like, to be able to skate. And it kind of just developed from there.
Did you put pads on that first year, or kind of how did it go? When was the first time you put the full gear on?
So it was after my first season, like a summer, just hockey league, just games and stuff. We had a goalie that was just letting all the kids try it out and stuff, and let me try it out.
So a lot of like what Jake said, or Jack said, which that's another thing that's messing me up bad. A Jack and a Jake on the both goalie squad, not fair. But Orchard was talking about how the goalie pads kind of get passed around amongst the kids for everyone to try them. So it was a deal. You got it. Did you like it immediately?
Yeah, I loved it immediately.
Why? Like I think it's crazy.
I don't know.
Everyone would shoot the pucks at you.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but
I
just
think
like
you are. No, I know you are a little bit, because that's what goes into doing the position. So I'd say certifiably yes.
Something about being in control of the game, I just
because you're out there the whole time. Is that kind of the cool aspect of it? You're not changing, so you're out there the whole time. So it's in a way, it's your game.
Yeah, good and bad. It's pretty much up to you in a way.
Okay, so you are in North Branch, Minnesota. Okay, I did the Google Earth and looked at it today. Small.
Yes, very small town.
Okay, so what is the hockey, kind of the setup? We've had guys from both sides where they were able to stay and do most of their hockey within like a 50-mile range. Or I think it was Bovey that was saying he had to travel all over the Southwest. What was your kind of youth hockey experience on the traveling setup?
Yeah, so Minnesota hockey, that's super nice, is there's teams really close everywhere.
Okay.
So just about every team, you wouldn't drive over an hour. It was probably anywhere 45 minutes average.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's so nice.
So what is your season? Like, are you guys playing year-round, or is it kind of a lot like the setup is kind of here?
Kind of the same as here for, like, high school. You just have your high school season. You'll have, like, a summer training program thing. But it's more, you got to go find training somewhere else. But obviously, there's training in Minnesota.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, if that's what you want to do. You're talking if it's not during the off season and stuff, and you want to stay working on your hockey game. You can find stuff to do there. Were you in other sports?
So I played soccer when I was really young, but I played baseball growing up until after freshman year of high school.
Okay. When did you go from kind of standing between the posts to actually learning the art of playing a goalie? Like, was there someone you were emulating? Like, who were as a boy? Which goalies are you watching? Or who was a favorite of yours growing up?
There was. I guess I never stuck with really one goalie. It was always kind of one every 2-3 years.
Okay.
Just kind of, I just like watching kind of how they move and just kind of similar to my style of play. It's like I like watching. But I had, when I started, parents had a talk with me about, like, obviously it's going to be expensive. are you really sure you want to do this? Told them yeah. And they got me into training that like next winter, just like one-on-one with goalie coaches. And
I don't think that's something that, I mean, people within the hockey community kind of know, but that's cool that you say that. You recognize the sacrifices that your parents made on it.
Yeah.
It's expensive to play hockey, man.
Yes,
so
it's very
did you have a
expensive.
good structured, like, I mean, mom and dad let you know, but then they were expecting some results. You needed to be serious about it.
Yep.
And stuff like
Exactly. Yeah. If I wasn't 100% into it, they wouldn't put me into other stuff and pay for it all the time. But loved the game,
Nice.
so I was fully committed to it.
Okay, so kind of what we were talking about earlier. What age, I guess, did it get harder would be the question, or was there an age, maybe the first time, whether it was a practice or in a game, that somebody really let one loose and you were kind of like, holy shit, here we go. Like, at what age did the puck start coming significantly harder?
Well, the game, as you get older, it obviously develops within an age, but if I had to specifically say like one moment, it was part of our like summer training program with our high school team. I was probably in like 7th grade, just kind of getting the coach to know me or whatever, just getting within the high school program. I wasn't playing high school that next year,
Okay.
but took a slap shot from probably a junior or senior, like 4 or 5 years older than me.
Okay.
And yeah, that was probably the first time I ever flinched at a shot. But yeah, usually, obviously when you're younger, like freshman year of high school, it's fast-paced game. Once you hit junior, senior year, it slows down more. But
Nice. So there's that. It's that age. Now, did you play up very often, or were you kind of always within your kind of the age range of?
maybe like a year or
Okay.
two older.
But nothing too radical.
No.
Yeah, there seems to be a big push, and I don't know if it's maybe the smaller communities where it's not as much, big time hockey around, but you
Yeah.
kind of see parents kind of push their kids up a little bit too much.
Yep.
And I think there's there's a point there, where especially when you get to that like 13 to 16-year-old, there's a hell of a difference between a 13-year-old
Yeah.
boy and a 16-year-old
Oh, yeah.
young man. So that can be something where hockey-wise, you put them out there, you can kind of ruin them a little
Yep.
bit. How do you end up in Gillette? Like, how does that whole story go?
So Hayes, the way he got in contact with me was my high school assistant coach, his name Aaron Bistrom,
Okay.
was buddies with him, and so he kind of talked about me to Hayes, and that's kind of how I got in contact with him.
Okay, so you get the phone call, Snapchat, whatever you guys communicate.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea where Gillette was, what Gillette, like, were you looking in A3HL, or at what point kind of were you in your career on what you wanted to do there?
So I kind of had an interesting path.
Okay,
So
I want to hear about it.
Yeah, so I graduated 2020.
Okay,
And I was going to come out, I was going to try out for some NAHL teams that following fall.
okay,
And I tore my meniscus training like right after COVID got done. And I had to have surgery on that. And it took about like 5-6 months to recover. By that time, the season already started.
okay, so this would be
And-
the 21 season.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, so it would
gotcha.
have been last season.
Last winter,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, and then I was gonna, because it was too late by then to go to an NA team, so I was gonna come here actually and play here. Well, right after the last day of my therapy, I got cleared and everything. Warming up to work out, I tore my other one.
In the other knee?
Yep, the other knee.
Okay.
So I had another 5-6
Oh,
months.
that sucks, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I was out all year.
What are you doing? Like, what are you training? Like, what are you, like, you're just running, or were you cutting, or?
The first one.
I don't want to drudge up bad memories.
No,
but okay.
no, it's fine. The first one was just moving too quick, so kind of started here, just moved over, and then I opened my leg up to go the other way too fast, and when I opened it up, something about it like flips over and tears.
Okay. So when you did the second one, did it feel like the first one? Like, did you know what you had done?
No, I actually didn't. So the first one, I couldn't walk, put any pressure on it. I was limping around. I had to get crutches right away. But my second one, I was doing just karaoke's or whatever.
Yep.
And cross over the legs, and I heard a pop in my knee.
Oh.
But the weird thing was I could walk on it, do just about anything normal, felt fine. But because of the last one, parents thought, get it checked out just in case. Good thing I did.
Same surgery, basically?
Yep, same exact surgery.
Same rehab, same everything. So then when were you cleared after the second one?
That was
to start going here.
Probably about right around when playoffs were starting last season, so it was too late by then.
Okay.
But I had all summer to train.
When did you first get back on the ice with them?
Just back on the ice.
Yeah,
in
after
general.
after both knees were fixed. Was that this fall when you first got back on the ice, or was it the end of last year?
The end of last year, so around the spring.
So you got to go out and test them a little bit. That's one of the things I talked about. I know when Easton, I don't remember what he did, if it was ACL or whatever happened to Easton last year. Talking to him those first couple games back, he just said he was like, I don't trust it. Like he just didn't. So what has to happen there? Do you make a move? Because I assume I've never had that problem. So I assume you're thinking about it at the start.
It messes up with your mental at the start, and even while you're doing therapy the last month and a half.
Because they're pushing you hard.
You're going on the ice.
Okay.
And you're just kind of taking it slow, working your way there, and still even if they tell you you're fully ready to go, you're still kind of edgy about it.
Okay.
And kind of when you get that full trust is when you accidentally do a movement where
you didn't know you were going to do it until it's done.
And then you just felt fine, and you're like, oh, okay, I can do that. I'm fine, and just kind of get back to it.
Nice. So, looking back in your career, a couple things. I know you got to go, so we can't make you late for work. So, goaling and the goal is you guys are steering the ship for a first place team. Have you done that in the past? Like, have you been the goaltender on teams that have been in first place in your guys' divisions and whatnot at the levels you have played?
Yeah, most of the time. Probably about like top 3, top 2.
Okay. So
yeah, I'm pretty used to winning, but yeah.
That's good. That's what you want to have. Yeah. It's. I don't think it's new. It's some of the guys that have been around here. They've seen a lot of changes in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And I think we're in as good a spot as we've been in a long time with Coach, but I'm curious now. Like the next, so you guys have Bozeman. It's shaping out. I've tried not to say it too much, just because you never know how everything's going to work out weekend in. But it's shaping up with you and Helena 1 and 2. So that's kind of way everything's looking. But now you guys have your next 4, 2 here, 2 there against Bozeman, who is 3rd. So now this is a chance to create a little separation from that top half of the top half of the standings. So
make it more of a top 2 then.
Exactly. So that's something you guys are conscious of, and you're looking at that.
Oh yeah, we're always just preparing for the next weekend. Doesn't matter who it is, just focused on winning those 2 games.
What is the competition like in practice with you guys?
Practice is definitely the best competition out of any of the games or anything. So it's nice getting on the ice 4 or 5 times a week and having a lot better competition than you're going to play for games.
At any level you've been to, is this kind of the best supporting staff that you've had playing with you on this? I mean, for what I've seen for the last 5 years, we're loaded.
Yeah,
everywhere.
definitely.
So is it fun to play behind a group of guys that? Like, I mean, I don't know what the average is, but they might go out and get you 6 or 7 a night. So that's
no, that always helps.
Okay. Last thing before I let you go, where I sit and do the games, I get to watch the interaction between benches. I've seen it between coaches, guys in the box, but
Yep.
I'm not close to the goal. Do goalies talk shit?
Doesn't happen, at least on my end, too much.
Okay.
Every once in a while, if you get a shove, yeah, you'll
You'll
say
quickly
something, but
Is it kind of code for if something happens? A lot of times when I see that, you guys you'll skate off. You go to the corner
Yep.
and get away from whatever
yeah, pretty much.
dumbness is happening there right in
Exactly.
front of the box. Okay,
Yep,
so yeah, I just didn't know because that's the one part that I don't get to see. And I had wrote it down too. You are technically right now in goal for a game that if it continues the way it is and concludes how we think, you will be in goal for 97 days. You will be the goalie because you were in goal Saturday, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
yeah, so if we conclude that in January, that will be 97 days to conclude. That has to be I'm sure that's going to be a Gillette Wild record. I don't know where it goes in the rest of the world. So, but yeah, that'll be,
Yeah.
we will play goalie in maybe the longest hockey game ever. So, dude, I appreciate you taking some time.
Yeah, no
I know you got to
problem.
get to work, so we'll see you guys this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool, thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right, we want to thank Caleb and Jake for taking some time. Jake was a little rushed. He had to make it to work. It's cool that the guys are taking the time to squeeze us in. They're busy. They got practice. They come do this. They head down to work. So I appreciate them taking the time and coming down to ask some questions. So before we get out of here, we haven't done it in a couple weeks, so let's take a good look kind of at some of the statistics where the boys are sitting. First, the weekly honors that come down from the NA3HL. We're going to start there. The Bauer Frontier Division Stars of the Week. This week on the honorable mention list, we have Tucker Lean. He had 4 goals and 2 assists. And Declan Young with 5 goals. These are honors that they earned in only 100 minutes of hockey. If we were able to get that last 20 minutes in, I'm going to assume those numbers would have been higher, but you know, it is what it is. So we're going to take a look at the overall skater stats for the NA3HL, and that's something else. If you want to follow along, you're going to be able to just jump onto the NA3HL website. You're going to scroll down, and you are going to see, wait for it, top scorers. Double tap that guy, pull her up, and you're going to see right now, still continuing to lead through the 12 games is our Declan Young, 28 points through the 12 games. Tucker Lean, 24 points. Seja Norwegian in 5th with 21 points. You got Tristan Baker with 20. Caleb Sanborn, we talked to earlier tonight, with 20. Top scoring defenseman in the NHL continues to be last week's guest, Brock Trebojevic, and Isaac Young, 13th with 18 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the top 20 scorers in the entire NA3HL. They call Spirit Hall Ice Arena home. Jump over and just take a look at the defenseman when you want to break it down by that category. That's also very simple. You're just going to filter that through the NA3HL website. Scroll down, tap her, tell her you want to see the defenseman, submit, say go get her, boy. So then come back and you're going to see Brock Trebojevic, 19 points, leading the defenseman across NA3HL. In 7th, Nate Fanning with 11, and 15th, Zach Slinger with 9. Defensemen also very well represented in the top 20 defensemen in the NA3HL. We had a sheet if we had to discuss kind of the points that got left on the board this weekend, but fortunately the game was called official, so we did not have to do that. So now let's take a look at the standings in the Frontier Division. This is just right there on the home page. You go to NA3HL, you scroll down, Frontier Division, it's in the middle. You'll see right now they're showing the Wild with 11 games played. They're showing us with 22 points. That is actually going to go to 12 and 24. Helena is in second with 10. And then we have Bozeman, who the next 2 weekends, we have 4 in a row against Bozeman now. If you remember at the start of the episode, we talked about Gillette and their games here over the next 6 weeks. The next 12 games are among the top 4 in the division, 6 of which are on the road, 2 pair at Haynes Pavilion in Bozeman, and a single pair of these games will be at the Helena Ice Arena on the weekend of December 3rd and 4th. Like I said, no better place to be the first weekend of December than Helena, Montana. It's prove it time now. We've been here a few times the last couple years. The Gillette started the season off well, and then about the time they start taking some of these road trips up to the top teams in the division, up in Montana, up in Sheridan, we ended up just getting the shit beat out of us and ended up, in that 3rd or 4th slot heading into the playoffs. And each one of the young men we've had in here and Coach Hayes, they've made it very clear that they want to do things different this season. They want to be that top seed. It continues to trend that it's going to be these series with them and Helena where they don't face each other very often, so those are going to be very important. It's also going to be very important you don't drop a silly one and lose a point or two along the way. So it starts tomorrow night, Saturday night at Spirit Hall. Oh, one last thing. I had promised you guys last week another bit. Graphics department, very, very busy this week. We talked about Declan Young and where he was. There you see right now, all-time points leader, up 9 and continues to build on that lead. All-time goals, 97 from 83. You guys do the math, whatever that is. He's up on that. This is what we were talking about, franchise all-time assists. Right now, he is sitting at 86. Gage Thompson holds the record at 100, so Declan is 14 assists away. I think he gets there. If I was any better at math, I could maybe do some statistics and find out what he averages a game versus games that are left. That's not what I do. I don't do math. So if you guys want to do that and figure it, put it in the comments, something like that. Help out the folks that want to know. If not, just stay tuned. We'll update you guys as it gets closer to that. So, Munich Dunkel. This is good beer. I am going to have several of these Saturday night in the boot. We might film a little of that, have a little story of that for next week. But if you can, Friday night, Saturday night, number 3 Bozeman in town. Face your Wild. Come out, watch some hockey, bring a friend. See you next time.